This documentary is for educational and informational purposes only. It covers real people, real stories and raw environments, not to glorify violence or hate, but to shed light on reality. The content has also been censored to comply with YouTube's guidelines.
You don't mix races. That goes against everything. All them damn liberals and everything else.
Could we be friends even though I'm not white?
Oh, yeah. Hell, I got a lot of black friends. We ain't together, party together, but I ain't having sex with them.
People need to spread more love.
Do you think black people can be racist to white people?
They are. God, they are.
They can call me a damn all men are created equal.
Do you have any friends in the school who are
Yeah. They used to try to run away.
The black man that got hung up here at the courthouse, I don't believe in racism. I live for the Lord.
Blacks.
A new discovery at the Dozier School for Boys in Mariana.
The remains of more than 50 young boys who attended the school were unearthed in 2015.
We say to you, we apologize.
Welcome to Florida. Beaches, nightclubs, Disney World, and racism. Florida has built an international reputation for being a holiday destination, but behind the bright lights and good times lies a darkness. In fact, Florida has one of the darkest histories in the entirety of the United States. Right here is where some of the first slave ships arrived in what is now the United States. But Florida's darkness extends far beyond the 1500s. After slavery, Florida became a place where violent racism continued to exist. While American families from the north and the west packed up their belongings and headed down for a family vacation, black children were being murdered and buried without a trace around 80 kilometers away. The world has a funny way of hiding the darkness with the light. Every crown is forged beside its coffin.
When that war started, it was over taxation on the South because them Yankees wanted them profits off that cotton. Didn't know how to get it.
What was the name first?
Huh?
What was your name?
John Wallace.
Our adventure started in a city called Altha in the Florida Panhandle. Altha is historically considered to be a sundown town, which meant that after dark, people of colour were no longer welcome. John is a long-time resident.
There's one, two. Ain't more white than any black ones.
What do you think of the flag? What's your opinion of the flag?
I don't see a problem with it. It's our damn heritage.
Why do you think people get offended by the flag?
I got no damn idea.
And what do people say to you because of the flag?
Well, they don't say much to me because I get a gun. They leaving. They gonna leave in a damn hurry, too.
What would you say, John, against people who think it's racist?
I'm not racist.
No, not you.
I got black friends. I don't know what it is, these damn liberals, they're crazy as hell. Them Democrats done took shit too far one way.
Do you think in the Panhandle there is a problem with racism?
Well, of course there is. And it's gonna be there forever, I guess. Well, in my life anyway. Whatever's left of it.
When you was growing up, did you witness any racism or see anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
Well, I guess
We won't talk about it though. I mean, because it really was bad a long time ago.
what was the worst thing that you saw growing up yourself?
I ain't gonna say. Not gonna say.
Hi, sir. What was the name?
Randy Bivers.
Randy. Aaron. Pleasure to meet you, Randy. How do you feel about the Confederacy and the flag?
I got one. I bought one the other day, but the old lady wouldn't let me put it up.
Randy, do you think that flag has anything to do with racism?
Yeah. The blacks think it is anyhow.
Do you think it does?
It's a Southerner's way of life.
How do you feel about interracial relationships?
I don't understand what them white girls is doing with them black ones do. They flock to them like they were something good to eat. I was in Vietnam 68 and 69.
How was that?
How was that? You don't want to go over there.
How do you feel about the Democrats?
I think they ought to all die. I can't stand a liberal. And them flying that damn gay flag and all that other shit, that's just crazy. The hell's wrong with them? They don't read the Bible? I've read it 8 times. Still don't understand. Whites should be with whites, blacks should be with blacks, Indians should be with Indians. They don't do that, that's not my business. There's good people in all races, and there's bad people in all races. And that's the honest truth.
I heard this was once a sundown town.
Well, yeah, don't let the sun hit your ass and after.
And what would happen if a black person was here after dark? If I was around back then and I tried to use the bathroom.
No, they hung your ass. It was a prejudiced place. It really was. All of this area was.
Has it changed for the better now?
Yes.
You talking about a nigger now. There's nigger whites and there's nigger black.
Were you ever racist, Randy?
No.
So if your daughter says she wanted to date a black man,
I'd kick her ass first. No, don't go there.
Vietnam broke me from being racist.
huh?
There were a bunch of us on guard duty one night, and this one sat out there and smoked his dope for whatever he done, and he was shot sitting there on the guard post.
And why did that make you change?
Then I know they bleed just like I do. But there for a long time, I thought they was untouchable.
And you saw him bleed, and then you realized he bleeds just like you do. And is that what changed you?
Yeah. I've tried to get Vietnam out of my mind, but it don't go away. Yeah, we had a 5-year-old boy walked in the mess hall one morning over in Vietnam. He had a Claymore mine strapped to his stomach with a button in his hand. And I was the only one in there with a gun. I shot about 14-year-old girl over there, a coat girl. She'd give us coats every time we go by there during the day, and we'd stop and get a cold coat. I was letting another fella go and take over the convoy, and he drove up there and stopped. She went up there and jumped on the side of his truck and jumped back down and took off. And I wondered why she done that. Then all of a sudden the cavalry truck exploded, and I shot her a bunch of times. But the government's the one that puts you in predicaments like that. Teaching an 18-year-old how to kill. And that amazed me.
They tell us they found more remains than expected. 13 barrels. The remaining graves were spread throughout the surrounding woods, under a roadway, and under large trees.
After being in Altha, we were curious to find out more about the peculiar attachment to the Confederacy that rural Florida residents have. We drove around the Panhandle and ended up in a town called Bonifay. In Bonifay, we found a Confederate club called the Dixie Iron Horse. My name is Aaron. I'm here to make a documentary on the Panhandle on the history of racism. People who are offended by the Confederate flag. Yeah, what would your response be to those people?
It's not a hate flag. It's not a racial flag. It's anything. It's just plain history.
Why do you think someone would be offended by the flag?
Misinformation.
What misinformation are they getting?
Well, a lot of people don't understand what the They had more slaves than the South did.
That's true.
Yeah.
Was any Confederate general opposed to slavery?
Yes, I can't tell you. My memory's not as good as it should be, not as good as it was.
Do you think it was a good thing that the North won?
No.
What was wrong about the North winning?
We still got taxation.
Do you think white people should stay with white people, and you think black people should stay with black people, and you think Asians stay with Asians?
I think if they love each other, that's all that matters. And nobody should be able to walk down the street and say, oh, there's a black man with a white girl.
Do you want me to be honest? I guess
Yeah.
you're probably the second person I've met who flies that flag or is associated with that flag who's gave me that opinion. There's many people who use that as almost like a blanket to be racist.
Like I said earlier, I mean, if that was the case, why ain't the whites saying, hey, take Martin Luther King's bust out of the White House? Because they're the ones that went against us for the Confederacy monuments. If they look at history, General Lee, Stonewall Jackson, we're history.
Why do you think they're erasing that part of history?
Because they're afraid that people actually stand up against the government.
Do you think there's a concerted effort to divide people in this country based off race?
Yes, I do. I think that's what keeps the monotony going. Keeping people against each other.
How do we stop this division? So I guess, how do we stop having people anti-Confederate, pro-Confederate? I guess, how do you reckon we can get people to unite?
Respect that flag as well as the American flag. It's a flag. That flag ain't doing nothing but waving.
Would you fly a Nazi symbol, albeit it's only a flag that's flying a symbol?
It's, a flag.
But would you fly it?
I wouldn't fly it out here.
So what makes the Nazi flag so different?
Well, I'm not German.
On the back of that, do you think people in Germany, if they believe in that, it'd be fine for them to fly that Nazi swastika?
If that's what they follow, yes. It's a choice of freedom of choice.
How would you feel if someone in the Confederacy flew a swastika as a flag?
Oh. God, what happens to you later?
After Bonifay, we headed about an hour south to the home of spring break, Panama City Beach. We were just driving there to Panama Beach to interview people there, but we saw your flag on the way.
Yeah.
I just wanted
I'm not prejudiced, though. Yeah, I get along with anybody.
I'm currently on Panama Beach making a documentary which is called the most tourist hotspot of the Panhandle of Florida. I'm trying to speak to people here and get their opinions and thoughts on racism within the Panhandle.
If someone say, hey, what's up, man? That's fine, that's cool, that's all we do. But if someone say, hey, you fucking your bitch, that's a difference. Get what I'm saying? You see, some places are not for you to go without a special reason. It's just natural on both sides. You feel me? If you don't have a reason, then don't pull up. If you have a reason and you have to pull up, you pull up.
Do you think black people can be racist to white people?
Oh yeah. All people do the same. Black people do racist, white people do racist. No matter what the nation is, they all do it. People need to spread more love. They definitely need to spread more love. It doesn't make us no difference. We are all human beings. God create man. In the beginning, he say, let us make man in our own image. So we're all sons of God and daughters of God.
Do you feel black people can be racist to white people?
I do.
The inverse.
I do.
Have you ever experienced that?
I have. I get judged and really been treated like there was places I shouldn't be just because I'm white. Just like a black man feels like. Same.
When you go, I guess, into all black town, you almost feel somewhat uncomfortable.
Not normally, because I just don't see that. I don't see color. But yeah, I have been in places where I've been looked at like, you don't belong here.
So have you ever spoke to anyone who's racist openly? I guess
it's weird.
and it's like it's like you don't even want to be involved with the conversation, and it's kind of just like everything that they said kind of went through one ear and out the other.
How did you feel about Charlie Kirk's incident, or did you?
Yeah, I seen about what I was like more like not concerned about was that I don't know if you saw the stabbing on the train, that girl, because I saw a video and it was like they were saying like that after he like stabbed her and stuff, he was like, I got the white girl.
Not just Florida. I mean, the whole country has a racism fault. And you know what? We're all just people. When I was younger, I thought it was because the way people was raised, but people ain't raised that way no more. So I'm not real sure what the problem is. Used to be that you and I could sit here and disagree, we'd still be friends. Obviously, that's not the case anymore. But
Do you think Trump's dividing the country, or uniting?
I think Trump's united a whole lot of people, but I also think that there's a lot of people that just can't be united.
What's it on? Racism?
Yeah.
I'd probably say the wrong thing. But no, I don't think 80% of the people are going to be ticked off.
I need, I guess, a viewpoint. At the moment, everyone's just very centrist. Can I just speak to you for 5 minutes?
I'll pass, guys. I'm not good. It's really kind of, I got a bad cold because of the ragweed.
We decided we would head to one of the most historically racist towns in all of Florida.
The one word that would describe Mariana, Florida is friendly.
Unmarked graves found at the Dozier Cemetery
in Mariana, Florida.
Just a safe little town.
50 other remains who are yet to be identified.
You know everybody, and if you need some help, they're there to help.
Boys buried in unmarked shallow graves.
When I see something like this going on, I want to be a part of it.
I'm currently in Mariana, Florida, at the Dozier School. In the heart of Mariana, in the Panhandle, there was a school with a dark secret. It was the Arthur G. Dozier School for Boys. Behind its fences, children were sent for reform, but for many, it became a death sentence.
The campus, segregated by race. That segregation was enforced with violence.
A white boy spoke to a black boy, go down to the White House for a beating.
In a small building on campus known as the White House, punishment turned into torture. Boys were dragged inside, beaten until they bled out, or they never came out at all.
Kids disappeared in the night. Families informed that their child passed away.
Screams were muffled by the soundproofing walls and the industrial fans put in the room.
I became an alcoholic at a very young age. Tried to drink everything away. It didn't work. I want closure. I want an end.
The school was open for 100 years before it was closed, and they tried to hide everything they did.
They're trying to cover that best they can, but you can't cover nothing like that. Them poor boys went through a hard time, a really hard time, and I don't even know why. It should have been shut down a lot sooner than it did. You'd have thought the state would have been checking on it.
You would have thought.
You'd have thought, but they didn't. They let it go, and it went too long. A lot of those kids didn't come back from that hunt. And this is kids, this is children. We're not talking about grown men that screwed up something. We're talking about children that didn't have money to get a lawyer.
That pain never goes away. You live with it every day, and at the end, you'll die with it. My name is James D. Nike.
James D. Nike. When I went there in '64, I was 15 years old. I was sent there because I was incorrigible. They beat us with a leather strap in a little building called the White House. Still got blood on the walls over there. But they would lay you on a bed on an old army cot. The infraction could be, one too many pads of butter in the kitchen for breakfast, or get caught smoking or cussing. You could go down to the White House and they'd lay you on that bed and they use a leather strap with a piece of metal at the end and a piece of metal inside. So the old razor strap, you know the old razor strap? 2 of those sewed together with a piece of metal in them. But anyways, they'd lay you on the bed. I went down one time and got my ass tore up a good. I got friends who literally got beat, skin on their backs, on their backsides, were ripped apart. The shorts were bedded in the skin.
What happened in the White House?
They had a strap that they bend you over and beat you with.
And how old was you, Jerome?
Now?
When you was at the school?
I was in my teens.
And I heard there was reports of sexual abuse. I heard some boys were getting abused.
Yeah.
How do you know that, Jerome? So I guess how do you know that happened?
Because they'll come hit your bunk and tell you to come out.
And when you'd come out of the dormitory, what would happen?
They'll take you somewhere where you don't know where you go.
And do what to you?
Have suicide there.
Did you have any friends who were raped?
Huh?
Did you have any friends in the school who were raped?
Yeah.
At the edge of the campus is an area called Boot Hill. White and black boys were buried there.
You heard stories and you heard there's graves, but you gotta stop and think. I mean, a lot of it where the graves are now, it's wooded area. Yeah. And I mean, it was such a big, so it was like almost like you didn't ever go around kind of, you're not gonna go and walk in the womb that type of way.
On the grounds of Dozier School, so many kids were killed, many of them unidentified, a lot of them in the woods, and some potentially have never been found to this day.
There was the disproportionate number of black boys who died, who didn't have death investigations or death certificates issued.
There's nothing in it, and you'll ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
Then they'll come back and get in the bed and just turn their face to the wall.
Welcome to the Florida Panhandle. The soil in Mariana still remembers, and so do we. Boys here were subject to violence not only in the White House but all throughout the campus, and no one was ever held accountable for any of these charges. The state tried to cover it up. Even to this day, I guess, there doesn't seem to be, much knowledge or history on exactly what happened here, but this school has one of the darkest pasts of anything that I've ever come across.
A road ran through the middle marking the boundary. Both sides had their own church.
So behind me is the chapel of the Dozier School. Here there was taught about God and prayed, but over 200 meters over there, they were brutally beaten and sexually abused.
A piece of rednecks that were doing nasty stuff to those boys that wasn't right. If you wasn't rich to get out of trouble, they caught you stealing or whatever, that's where they sent you. There was black and white, it didn't matter. Like I said, it's all the same. When you're poor and you don't have nothing, in their eyes, they was all niggers.
While the two parts of the Dozier School were segregated, experiences of torture and sexual abuse were similar between white and black kids. Most of the children who ended up here had no power due to the families being in poverty. However, it was mostly black children who would disappear without a trace. Finding out years later they were murdered and buried underneath the school grounds. And Jerome, I guess, did you tell anyone, when you was there, was there anyone you could tell this was happening? Was there anyone you could speak to?
It won't do no good. It doesn't do no good to tell anyone. Cause they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna get you nothing but a whooping.
I heard a lot of boys were murdered at that school.
Man, it was rough there.
Did you ever go to the White House at Dozier School?
Yeah, the White House, it was down the hill. They got a strap with a thing you bent over with a strap about that long, and then they beat you with it. Well, halfway through there, you ain't allowed to say nothing. That was hit by snap.
And if they run from it, they'd run down with dogs and kill them. And they buried them there. Her brother served over there. Yeah.
And I heard they would rape, kill.
Yes, it was bad. He told me stories that was really bad.
They used to try to run away. And then you never saw them no more.
So if someone tried to run away, you would just never hear of that person ever again?
You don't see them no more.
And I shot her a bunch of times. Showed me something at 18 years old that I ain't never seen before in my life.
Do you still think about those situations today?
I have nightmares about it.
A lot of boys disappeared, a lot of children were disappeared, sold into trade and slavery.
They had a stick with a leather strap about that wide, and it had holes in it, and that's what they beat you with. They lay you on a table and tie your hands down and beat you. And I think that's the way a lot of them boys died, being beaten.
So I'm on the grounds of the Dozier School trying to find more things out about the history. And one thing we saw, as you can see behind me, there's people actually working here, transforming these whole dormitories where people used in the beaten.
Can we get into one of these buildings or no?
Yeah, you can run in.
Really?
Yeah, there's unlocked, and that building over there, they unlocked at that door right there.
And what are they filming? What is this going to be?
Women. We're all people that's in the program doing all the work over here to get the.
So you're in a program to do this work?
Yeah.
So you're not paid? Are you paid to do this, or it's compulsory?
No.
Basically, this is just people on programs having to do this for free for...
Yeah, I mean, during their work call, because we usually go over there and we do like 4 classes a day.
So wait, these are voluntary rehab centers, or are these going to be where people go when they get in trouble with the law? And
It's both.
Okay,
It's both.
That's crazy.
that is that's pretty wild. Yeah.
So they're basically making these look like them. They're just modernizing the old dorms, I guess. Yeah.
And I think he is doing this because he's on probation.
That's crazy.
So all of it, like they're using people that got arrested to build this for women who get arrested.
People who have been either vulnerable or ex-convicts to work for free to transform old dormitories into places like this. I just don't understand why you turn these dormitories into something like this. And I don't think anyone would want to stay there. So you've got 7 or 8 people there as this quantity is working, transforming this building next to me. It's an old dormitory. It just feels wrong. It's probably the best thing to say. It just feels wrong. I don't think these things should be changed. That they're a part of history and a very dark history. And I wouldn't feel comfortable sleeping in them. But I feel like to change them and erase this history, I feel like that's, in my opinion, slightly wrong. So this is one of the dormitories and the door's been left open. So I guess we'll see what it once looked like inside. And I guess this is where the boys from Dozier School would sit. Just has a really eerie view. It's probably the best way to describe how I'm feeling standing there, knowing especially what was happening in the White House, which was opposite these doors. And as you can see, we're changing this into that. And then now turning the dormitories where people were potentially raped and beaten into rehab places for women. Was you aware of that?
No, I had no idea.
Literally, if you go up there, we just interviewed a guy who's, I'm not sure like obviously what the process is here in America, but he was once a convict and now he's working for free to transform it into a rehab center for women.
I mean, I know they do like workforce, like work camps for people who are like have a lighter sentence or are trying to work on good behavior to get out sooner.
In the manner that they're being used here for this historical site with dark history, to me, I feel like that from a human point of view, it's mind-blowing if I'm transparent.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's kind of repeating the process a little.
The Arthur G. Dozier dormitories will allegedly live on as a state's corrections facility. There have been no public announcement yet of this happening. When the redevelopment began, it was promised that on the grounds there would be multiple museums built, a civic centre, the sheriff's office, and that some of these dormitories would be demolished. Even this cafeteria that is completely dilapidated was initially planned to be turned into a museum just 4 years ago. Push it under the
Put it under the rug and try to just change the actions that they do, but they don't really want to talk about it and address it, which I can see where that upsets people because, like, how can you get forgiveness without asking for it if you haven't even shown any sympathy or regret?
It was a concentration camp for kids. We've always said there's more dead boys on there.
They are more than likely African American.
Another state is repurposing a site with one of the most horrific tragedies in American history into something similar to what it once was during that time. Again, there have been no official reports of this, so legally, I have to say this is only alleged.
You don't mix races. Races just stick to each other. It ain't natural. It ain't right. It's like queers. There is no reason to be a racist.
Would you say you are?
No.
You think black and Mexicans are as intelligent as white people?
Mexicans, they don't breed. They just wild.
Do you have any Mexican friends growing up?
No. I don't have none now. There's a trailer next to us here. There's a bunch of them over there. Well, a gal owns the place, but that's what she does. She rents it out to Mexicans.
How do you feel about that?
Well, me and her had some talks about it. She told me to stay in my yard and they'd stay in theirs.
You think Mexicans are good people?
Well, I'm sure there's some good ones. I don't know. I ain't never been around.
We're talking about Miami, the beaches, the Orlando, the Disney parks. This past with a dark racial history that's never spoken about. I guess what I'm realizing is there's almost two parts to Florida. And I guess coming from London, it's truly fascinating. I guess it's probably the best way to put it.
For the most part, it's kind of one of those things that is not really publicly talked about. Like if I bring it up to somebody socially, it's not really discussed very much.
Hawk Tour. Someone's graffitied Hawk Tour up there. Oh, kind of funny. Do you think racism within the Panhandle is still here today?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, it's more than it should be.
What makes you say that?
I have been ran off the road, and I've been called hard R a couple of times. Coming out your way just to tell me, hey, or just.
Has that happened?
Oh yeah. The reason I don't move is because, like I said, either way, anywhere you go, it's always going to be right there. You go to a big city, you go to a small city, and it's always going to be there. You got some people that look at you certain ways, and you got other people that just, they don't even care how you carry yourself. They just want you to stay in your own area.
And DJ, do you think African Americans can be racist to white people?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that's possible?
Oh, yeah. I got families that don't like damn white people, supposedly.
Do you think there's racism in the Panhandle today?
Oh, most definitely.
What makes you say that, Pedro?
Me being Hispanic, I've heard everything from backwoods hay bale looking MFer to billionaire, backwoods hillbilly, boulder jumper to everything under the book.
Well, how does that make you feel, Pedro?
You just learn to roll with the punches after a while, but it does get under your skin sometimes. You have to learn to bite that tongue. Other than that, you just feeding into it and it's gonna keep going. About 6 years ago, an elderly lady comes around me, passes me, literally notices me as she's passing me, hits the brake just to drop her window and go, "Get the f out my country, you damn wetback boulder jumping bitch." About 65, 70-year-old lady, gray haired and all. I was like, what? No music loud, no truck revving, just slow rolling at about 45 miles an hour. I even have friends of myself that are full Caucasian, and they'll tell you themselves, they don't agree with half of their family members because they'll tell you straight to their face, don't bring that jigaboo here, don't bring that banner here. If you ain't white, it ain't right. And I moved to a big city, I moved to a different rural area. Only reason I came back is so easy to raise your children here because it's so quiet. As long as you stay out the way, do what you're doing and not worry about the rest of the people, it's easy living, it's easy to raise your children. So that'd be the main reason I don't want to leave.
Name me a town that I guess you'd feel really uncomfortable in.
Altha.
Put that belt on that ass. That's how you teach right and wrong. The rainbow wasn't meant for them queers. That was God's promise that he wouldn't flood blew us out again. At the end of every rainstorm, there's a damn rainbow. That was his promise to us. It ain't got shit to do with damn queer.
Have you ever met anyone from the Brotherhood?
Brotherhood?
The Aryan Brotherhood?
Of course. They're crazy as hell. But it's a lack of leadership.
Do you think the Klansmen were good people? Or are good people?
Most of them. Aaron knows most of them are good people. Then you got them crazy ones, you know. Trying to push issues that shouldn't be pushed. Training them. Stockpiling weapons. Just in case. You never know. It's always good to be prepared.
Don't hang with the black people, and they were different. And you know, if there's anything free, you got to get it before the black people. It was that way. You know, everybody was raised that way. You don't get off at a bus in a black neighborhood and go to your black friend's house. You don't have a black friend. Everybody beat you up. Everybody beat him up.
Do you think there's still racism in Mariana today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tell me one thing that you've seen.
Well, you know, always talking about black people. They don't call them black, they call them niggas.
If you brought a black girl home, what would happen?
Oh, you get your ass whipped easy. You don't mess with black people. You don't have black friends, not man friends, not girlfriends.
You think it's safe for rise again?
Hell, I hope so. I'm gonna kill them Yankee son of bitches.